So the topic of spinsterhood has kind of been coming back into the limelight again, and basically, like, what options does a woman who doesn't have a husband, doesn't have any prospects of a husband, is kind of just down and out, like, what options does she have? I do kind of have difficulty seeing the world not through that Christian lens these days. But hear me out. You can there's much more that you can do to give meaning to your life than having a family. I mean, having a family is the most obvious, blatant one, but I mean, I look at nuns and see what kind of lives they have, and it's just like, wow, they have it really going for them. They've consecrated their lives away to God, and they're doing a lot for their communities and whatnot. And I think you can also do that. And I mean, you don't. It can. I don't really know the process to becoming a nun, and if it's anything like being ordained as a priest, it's super difficult. But I suppose, like, if that's not an option, there are sort of these lay societies, sort of like Opus Dei, that cater to these lay people who want to have a more religious life, and some of them even include like chastity in their vows. So that's always something you can look into. And I mean, just about every endeavor, even having a family, is in vain if it's not through God, and you'll probably see that soon. I mean, you've seen all the miserable parents out there. I did this because of social expectations. They're not really in it for anything other than that. Other than, like, well, this is what it looks like to be successful, is to have a few kids and a house and 2 cars and whatnot. But I think, like, being, that stuff doesn't follow you to the grave. You're gonna die, turn to dust. Going to be left to kids who may or may not love you anymore, may or may not honor you. So don't think that just by having a family you've automatically got this way into having a meaningful life. I've seen people die with all their kids estranged. So what kind of life could you live that isn't in vain? Well, of course, you can go to heaven. And I mean, I kind of, for the longest time, and I haven't been a Christian all that long, but for the longest time, I thought that's the goal, get to heaven. But what's more important is to bring heaven down here, right to where you are. And you can do that by making your immediate area more beautiful, place more pleasant to live. There are people suffering all around you, you gotta admit that. And unburdening them, that's something else that can really take off. And then there's the prospect that you might just be getting married later in life. I mean, not having a family is not the only bad thing about if you went down this path of being a cold, heartless person who nobody was good enough for. That's not the only way that it's affected you. You've pushed away just about everyone in your life, most likely, and the way you gotta fix that is you gotta build yourself to have a warmer heart and whatnot, and you gotta kind of get in the habit of doing these kind acts for people. Maybe you're taking care of the elderly, taking care of the homeless, taking care of those people who are suffering in hospital beds and whatnot. So, yeah, give that some thought.